you people here, the people of the state of West Virginia, made it possible for John Kennedy to be elected President of the United States. And he remembered that. And now I come back here to the state of West Virginia to ask you for the same help that you gave him, to ask for your assistance as I run for President of the United States. I see that.
Thank you very much. How are you? Well, how are you?
We have to continue the job that was started. There's much that needs to be done, there's much that can be done, not only for this generation of West Virginia, but for the next generations of West Virginia. I look upon West Virginia as my close friend. I want to be elected President of the United States so I can go to the White House and I can fight for the state of West Virginia and fight for all of you.
For Senator Robert Kennedy, a 24-hour barnstorming visit to West Virginia, which gave John F. Kennedy a big boost to the presidency in 1960. From early morning till after dark, it's been a 160-mile motorcade through the coal mining country of West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm gonna see. Where's Mama with that glass? Where did he get the glass President Kennedy drank from?
Tell him to hurry up! They haven't got much time.
Where is he?
That's all right.
Three of us drank out of it now.
You're going. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, that isn't bad. You make that yourself?
You know, the first thing you tell me, I said, welcome to West Virginia. I said, come sta?
Come sta?
He said, come sta? I said, bene, te come sta? I said, bene, bene. And then when he left, he said, arrivederci. I said, I'll be done gone. He can talk Italian better than I am.
Happy for you. We're all praying for you.
Thank you very much.
This is mostly a neighborhood, Catholic neighborhood.
Thank you very much.
You know, excuse me, you know.
That is good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're so happy that y'all have stopped.
Thank you.
Your brother promised the next time he'd come, he'd stop to see us, but this means so much.
Thank you.
Hey, wait a minute.
Here he is.
What about Roosevelt?
Photographer's car is going.
jobs. President Kennedy came here and he campaigned on the basis that we wouldn't make the problems disappear, but we could do something about them. We could face them. We could put into operation and put into effect programs that would make a difference. We started that in 1961. It's had an effect here in the state of West Virginia. But I say that there is much more that needs to be done. We can make more progress in bringing peace around the rest of the world. West Virginia has contributed more men. I think we have to make it clear that we're not going to tolerate the corruption and the dishonesty that exists within that country. That we're going to demand from them a general mobilization. That we're going to demand from them that they broaden the political base of their government to bring in other elements into the government in South Vietnam. That we're going to demand of them that they take over the major burden of the fighting. I don't think it's acceptable that our casualties doubled. The number of Americans who were killed in Vietnam doubled in 1967 over 1966 and have gone up again, while the casualties and the deaths of the Army of South Vietnam were going down at the same period of time. We can help them. We can assist them in South Vietnam, but they have to carry the major burden of that war, and I think that should be the policy of the United States of America. I think that we can act with firmness toward our adversaries, just as we did at the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis, when we required, with the strength of the United States, the strength of our military forces, that the Soviet Union withdraw its missiles from Cuba. We were able to do that, but we also have to preserve the peace. And we were able to show in 1963 in the Test Ban Treaty that we can do that as well, that we can work with our adversaries, that we can try to bring peace not only to our own country, but peace all around the world. It's on that basis that I run for President of the United States, that we have peace and reconciliation at home, that we deal with violence and lawlessness with strength, but we also deal with all of our people with justice, that we replace as much as we can the welfare system with jobs and with employment here in the United States. So I come here to the state of West Virginia to ask for your support. I think that we can do more here in this state. I think we can do more. We needed your help. The state of West Virginia turned the tide. The state of West Virginia, more than any other state, decided who was going to be the Democratic nominee for president in 1960. They voted for John Kennedy. They sent him to Los Angeles with the votes of the state of West Virginia, and he went on to win the nomination, and he went on to win the election. And I think it made a difference for the state of West Virginia. I come here now to ask for your help, for your support in Chicago, to send those delegates to Chicago who will support me in this effort. We can win in Chicago. If we can win in Chicago, we can win the election in November. We can beat Richard Nixon, we can win the election in November, and we can make a major difference for the state of West Virginia. We can make a big...
Mr. Kennedy!
There was a brief moment of midday reflection and throwing of pebbles in a pond to interrupt this day of campaigning in that convertible automobile. And it was convertible weather all day, bright and sunshiny, as the senator barnstormed West Virginia. At every stop there were friendly crowds At every stop there were friendly crowds, polite enough not to tear him apart, filled as everywhere with young people and enough older ones to remember with him when John F. Kennedy campaigned here in 1960, and he reminded them at every stop. We began at the Mercer County Courthouse in Princeton, West Virginia. At Welsh, there was an unfriendly local newspaper editorial to respond to. Some door-to-door campaigning was tried in the smallest town on the tour, Superior, West Virginia. Outside Welsh, a pause for refreshment, an offering of West Virginia home brew, and the senator drank. Outside Welsh, there was a pause for refreshment, an offering of West Virginia home brew, and the senator drank. There was just one pause for relaxation on this 170-odd mile tour, and the senator momentarily sat beside a pond and threw pebbles into it. But all day we've been barnstorming the countryside here in West Virginia. This is Irv Chapman, ABC News with the Kennedy campaign.
Judge Jarrett and ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to be back in Princeton. I spent so much time here 8 years ago. I'm delighted to see all of you. As I said last night, all of the Kennedys look upon West Virginia as their second home. And perhaps that makes it a little bit more complicated for me, having started in Massachusetts and now living in New York. But nevertheless, the friendly sign over there, go home, Bobby. That's somebody else. Is there a little Bobby here who's supposed to be home with his mother and father? Isn't that marvelous? They feel so much strong feeling about their child that they write signs for them. You must keep running away from home. They have to have a permanent sign that they carry around with them. But I'm delighted to be here. I took my campaign's going well. They've taken a poll amongst my children. And although I didn't win a majority, I got 4 votes. And my brother Teddy, that's why I was concerned about whether you were clapping for him or not. My brother Teddy got 2 votes, and with a good deal of enthusiasm. And my sister Pat got 2 votes. And there were 2 that were reassessing their position. So that's why I think the kind of reception that I had here in Princeton will make such a difference. Maybe that'll bring the other 2 along. But all of you know when President Kennedy was here 8 years ago, he talked about the fact that we needed development here, we needed jobs here in the state of West Virginia, that West Virginia had contributed more young men in the Second World War, or the percentage of their population, than any other state of the Union. But the same thing is true once again in Vietnam. West Virginia is the state that has contributed those who in time of crisis have responded. I congratulate the state of West Virginia. I'm happy and I'm honored to be here. I want to work with your Congressman Hickman, who's done so much for this state, who's fought so hard for his district. I want to work with the other public officials. I think there's much more that we can do here in the state of West Virginia. I think first we should have jobs for all of those who are ready to work and able to work. I think that there should be a federal program in which jobs are provided. Here in the state of West Virginia, where we still have a high rate of unemployment, I think also we could bring in the private sector, not just the federal government coming in, but the private tax and tax credits, and the private sector to locate themselves in states like. I think education is the key for the future of the state of West Virginia, and if I'm elected President of the United States, we're going to put more funds into education. We're going to do that, but we're also going to see that we have the best possible educational system. That's one of the reasons that I've been concerned about the war in Vietnam. Not that the fact that I didn't recognize that we had a commitment there. I felt that the struggle in Vietnam was just being made an American war. An American war. I I thought that if the war was going on and was taking place, it had to be the South Vietnamese that carried the struggle, not just the Americans that carried the struggle. And I was distressed about, when I looked at the statistics of 1967 over 1966, where our deaths doubled while the deaths of the South Vietnamese army went down, lower than the United States. This is their country. This is their war. This is their effort. I think that they should take steps to end the corruption and the dishonesty, and that any young man could buy his way out of the bad and have enough money. So that in the